Greetings from the tavern, and welcome everybody to 2017 Oktoberbrawl. My name is Dan Cho. You can call me Frodan, and I'm joined by TJ Sanders over from Blizzard. And together, we're going to go through a lot of weeks of fun festivities to celebrate not only the Knights of the Frozen Throne expansion, but also because the fall season is upon us. TJ, how you doing, man? You're looking good in that t-shirt blazer combo from 2015.
Brings me back, man. This
brings us back.
This used to be the casting standard back in the day. But yeah, I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to watching some of these games. Been keeping track of some of the streamers and their challenges and trying to deck build in the Oktoberbrawl challenge. So today we're going to have some grudge matches, and it's going to be fun to see them play their decks.
That's right. We have 2 teams, 3 players per each team, and they're going to be bringing 3 decks. But there's a little bit of a twist on it. We're going to, first of all, dip into the wild format. For people who aren't familiar with that, it means every single card from all history in Hearthstone, and there's well over 1,000 at this point, are available to be chosen. However, they can only play them if they've opened those packs. We're playing a format that many people like to call sealed, which is you open up packs that are given to you and make decks from that. So it's a limited format challenge compared to what the normal circumstances are, which is every streamer has access to every card, and they usually can build whatever deck they want. Not the case today, DJ.
Yeah, and we put some restrictions on the challenge as well. They can't dust any cards, so they can't open a legendary, dust it, and try and craft something else. And they can open classic packs, but only ones that they earn from gold by playing constructed. So a very limited amount of packs that they were able to open, and that they can use to build the decks that they're going to play today.
That's right. Some of the expansions that they'll be restricted to are based on what week it is. So for this week, we get to go to the first ever full expansion of Hearthstone. That's Goblins and Gnomes from 2014, and the Grand Tournament from summer of 2015. Next week, September 18th to 22nd, we have the Year of the Kraken, beginning with Wizards of the Old Gods and Mean Streets of Gadgetzan.
Yeah, and then we'll continue our journey through Hearthstone time with the final expansions, Journey to Ungoro, as well as Knights of the Frozen Throne on week 3, and then week 4, the final week of the Oktoberbrawl, will be a mystery card. So you'll have to stay tuned for week number 4 to see what the next challenge will be for these streamers.
That's right, and the entire premise of this is that we have 2 different teams that are battling against each other with 3 broadcasters each. Some of your favorites, some who are on the come up. And so for Team Void, we have Thijs from the Netherlands, Dog from the USA, and Jackie Chan from the United Kingdom.
And they'll be going up against Team Light, which includes superstar gamer Kriparian, Reynad, who is still on his quest to become legendary, and of course Allie Straza will round off Team Light. And Team Light currently in a deficit in the voting standings that we have going on. They had quite a bit of a disadvantage coming into this week.
Yeah, that's right. There's people who can get these card backs that you can get from having Twitch Prime, which if you have Amazon Prime or Prime Video, already comes free with your account. And by linking it, you can wear these card backs in the game. They're exclusive for limited time until October, hence the entire promotion as well. And if you've been using these card backs, based off the percentage of players using it, you've been voting and giving packs to your favorite players. And I believe right now, Team Void is kind of in a big lead over Team Light. Is that correct?
It's about a 70-30 split right now, and each week we give packs based on the voting. So there's like a 20-pack pool, and you get a percentage of those packs based on the percentage of votes. So I believe Team Void had got 14 packs, 70% of them, and Team Light only got 7 packs, not 70 packs.
Only 70 packs.
7 packs, 30%. So they're at a pretty big disadvantage right now. So if you guys want to support your streamers, if you want to make Team Light get a little bit closer to Team Void, make sure you get that card back with Twitch Prime.
If you don't have that card back, check out link.twitch.tv/Oktoberbrawl, or just click on all the other promotions that have been going around and link your Battle.net account so you can get those free promotions. And there's also a lot of other cool rewards coming, by the way. You guys saw some of those mystery ones, like the special card back or 2 free card packs later on in the coming months. So lots of great stuff, as well as the normal Twitch Prime advantages as well that you get from being a subscriber there. Let's go ahead and meet our first player from Team Void, who will be joining us in studio through the power of technology. That's right, it's a 2017 tavern, and it's Thijs from the Netherlands. Thijs, can you hear me?
I hear you, Froden.
How you doing, Thijs, man? Thanks for joining us.
I am doing great. I am kind of excited. I think I made what I called from the decks, but I'm super proud of the team, that how much we already did as Team Void and how much more packs we had. I hope I can start it well for the team.
All right, cool. Well, your opponent will be a member of Team Light, and I believe it is Allie Straza. And Allie, we haven't actually gotten to see you compete that often in Hearthstone, so now you're going up against, no pressure, one of the most storied legacy players in all of Hearthstone history. It's Thijs. You feeling nervous at all, Allie?
I'm a little nervous, but I'm more excited, more so than anything. You know, we might be at a disadvantage here, but I have confidence in Team Light.
Okay, cool. You know, Thijs mentioned that him and his team were like talking to each other, having a lot of support for each other. Have you been able to get a lot of that emotional support and talking with Raina and Kriparian, who are very known for their friendly demeanors?
Yeah. We've got a Skype group and everything. We've been talking about our decks and all that jazz. So yeah, no, I feel supported. All good.
Papa
All right,
Crip.
Cool. Papa Crip coming in, and we'll see if young Goldilocks here, Allie, can carry the team. Well, good luck, guys, and we'll see what you got for this best of 3.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, seems good.
All right, well, you heard it here. Looks like things are looking good for both teams. They're in good spirits, but it's the first week, TJ.
Yeah.
Everyone feels good at the very beginning, of course.
Yeah, I got a chance to play test this a little bit with the amount of packs that they were given. And it is tough. It is really hard to build decks. And a lot of times you have a favorite deck that you want to put all your good cards in, but it's still a very tough challenge to work and build decks with a minimum amount of card pool.
That's right. Your favorite broadcasters, Allie, Thijs, Dog, Crip, etc., have been venturing on the ranked play ladder and trying their best. And when you have such a large restriction put on you, it's very difficult to face off against such high power levels. But what's important, TJ, is not having the strongest deck, it's having better decks than your opponent. So we'll see how Thijs and Allie are able to fight. So the first match we have is Shaman versus Hunter.
This is pretty interesting. So in this first week, with the limited amount of card packs that they were able to open, a lot of it depends on, your class choice depends on one, what powerful cards you make for the class, but also sort of the strength of the basic cards in that class. And so I feel like we're going to be seeing, some similar trends. But we're going to get into it, and looks like mech seems to be a pretty big theme here. Of course, with goblins versus gnomes, the mech synergy is back once again to terrorize these grudge matches.
That's right. Going down memory lane, a lot of people didn't really play Goblins vs. Gnomes during that time. Goblins and Gnomes was very mechanical heavy. It was an entire tribe named after it for mechs. We've seen a couple of new mechs. I think, Meech's a Gadsand introduced one like the Burglaw Bully. And, in the Grand Tournament, it was focused mainly around Inspired minions and hero powers. So we'll see how that kind of dynamic works into some of these classes here. And Shaman already gets onto a board very fast with Totem Golem, which has been a really dominant force during its time in rotation.
Yeah, and the class icons are right, but I think the names are swapped around. So Thijs is on the bottom perspective, so the name matches up. I believe he is playing the Shaman, and Allie is on the top perspective. Just the webcams are off, but off to a good start for Thijs here with the Shaman.
That's right. The Overload come into play there. Of course, he'd love to play Spire Tank. Can't do it, but he's got some really powerful stuff. The Flame Tongue Totems. He's got Argent Horse Rider, really powerful ways to get tempo. And Hunter is so dependent on getting the board. Argent Commander is also in the hand of Alish. I haven't seen that since the beta of Hearthstone when it was a relevant card back then. Killing Azure Drinks.
Yeah, one of the main things for this event was the journey through time with Hearthstone and the journey through the expansions. And this definitely is a throwback. Argent Commander used to be a tier 1 card because it was one of the only cards that can answer Azure Drake back in the day, which was a menace. It was the most powerful card in the game, I feel, along with like Sylvanas back when it was 5 mana as well. Right. So pretty interesting to see it come back. And I want to see if any of these players opened up, say, Dr. Boom in one of their packs. They got a limited amount of packs, and now with the card changes, they do get a guaranteed legendary within the first 10 packs. So you get a legendary from the set.
Interesting.
With the amount of packs that they're able to open. So if anybody opened Dr. Boom, as soon as that bad boy comes on the board,
yeah. I wonder, what about the dominant legendary in the Grand Tournament? Was there one? Was it just a card,
True Heart? Probably.
Super powerful. Maybe not necessarily as strong in Hunter. I guess hitting 3 damage per turn is really good.
Yeah.
That would be ridiculous if you had a hero power that could hit 3 damage per turn.
Yeah.
Or if you could gain a handful of life per turn too.
It's kind of funny because Warrior doesn't have the best basic cards. A lot of them are very synergistic. But if I'm opening Justicar, I'm tanking up all day long.
Well, Thijs, he's going to firmly get the board, and I feel like this might be too much. Allie does have the Unleash the Hounds and a kill command. That's a really powerful way to come back on the board as well. Keep in mind that you guys can also participate in chat by voting along with us. If you guys type in HS Void or HS Light, you'll have a nice little global emo that comes out where you guys are showing your support. Not to mention we get to show some cool polls and show how popular really is with one team over the other.
Yeah, at the beginning, I thought it'd be pretty even. I actually wasn't expecting Team Void to have, you know, as big of a vote lead going into week 1 as they did. But
I know.
They currently have a huge lead, so we'll see, because those packs are going to add up over the weeks.
Sure.
If they continue to have a 70-30 vote split, they're going to continue to get a ton more packs than Team Light.
I mean, it's 4 packs this week, but then it's 8 packs the following
per
week.
player too. It's pretty crazy.
Per player, you're right. It gets crazy at times. Now, Allie has been holding this Unleash the Hounds for a while. When do we pull the trigger, TJ?
This looks to be decent. She can clear the Flame Totem plus the 2/1 health minions and still keep 3 hounds alive. So that seems to work. Allie's also drawn King Crush. I believe we also gave players the Welcome Bundle.
And she got the King Crush?
Yeah, so, well, it could be, or, you know, she could have gotten it from the classic packs, but with the Welcome Bundle, you get the 10 packs plus the guaranteed legendary, and any legendaries that you open in those 10 packs. And the guaranteed class legendary, King Crush, fits right into that. And that can play also a lot into which class you choose. Say you get Tyrion from the Welcome Bundle. That's going to really heavily lean you towards Paladin because of how powerful that legendary is in a format where it is limited.
All right, well, Thijs was out to an early game lead, but this Unleash the Hounds kill command combo has brought Allie back. And now Thijs, he has to figure out a way, what's the best way to get back onto the board here.
Start jamming face. Hope the Crackles get it done.
You do have a lot of damage in the hand. Crackle can hit up to 6, with the low end being 3. And if you can get Flame Tongue to deal 2 to 4 damage, you're only missing a couple more pieces in order to finish the game, because Allie's pretty low at 18, so that'd be around 6 to 8 damage that you have to generate if you're able to get that much.
Yeah, and keep in mind, since it is a limited format, rarities are a big deal. Rare cards and epic cards are still pretty hard to come by.
It's true. It's true. So commons really rule the game.
They do. Yeah, so if you're expecting something like Lava Burst to come out from Thijs, it's likely that he only has 1 copy or maybe even none, because that's a rare. Or Doomhammer, that's an epic.
True that. Something that we didn't really consider too much. Thijs going to get value off this Flame Tongue Totem while he can. And that Healing Totem is so annoying, keeps regaining health. And Allie's coming up on this big Argent Commander turn, so as much as Thijs is trying to fight back, I think Hunter might start turning the tides here.
Mech Warper. Nothing fancy. Looks like just Argent Commander is the best option here. What do you kill?
That's a good question. I think Flame Tongue Totem is a little bit more threatening. You get to keep the Divine Shield onto the Argent Commander as well. And you get to even pressure the totem. Or sorry, kill the totem, not even pressure it.
It's pressuring it.
It's pressuring it a lot by biting in its neck.
Is that what Argent Commander does?
No, that's what the hounds do.
Oh, okay.
They bite. Or they paw furiously. Ancestral Knowledge, Power Mace, and Annoyatron. Devastating combinations, but that Divine Shield sticking onto the Argent Commander is really annoying. And looks like Allie's actually feeling comfortable. She's smiling. Before that, it was all business. Now it seems to be a little bit more fun in games.
Yeah. Well, when you're winning, or when it seems like you're winning.
Turns out, winning is fun.
At least more fun than losing.
Yeah, we coined this as the term grudge matches. Not that there's some grudge between Thijs and Allie, but there will be.
If there wasn't before, there is now.
If there wasn't before, there's certainly some things to consider now.
Yeah. And for people that may not be as familiar with Goblins versus Gnomes and haven't had a chance to play with the cards, Power Mace, 3-mana 3/2 weapon, Death Rattle, give your mechs, or is it give your mechs or give a mech? I think it's give a mech +2/+2. So not going to give any benefit on the first swing, but can buff that Annoyatron if it sticks on the board.
All right, well, Allie picks up Deadly Shot and would love to start pressuring the Shaman's life total. Thijs had the option of going aggressive. You know, he could have started hitting his opponent's life total with the Spider Tank and the weapon. That's 6 damage plus the Crackle in the weapon, so that's another 6 damage. Instead, he's showing restraint and trying to play board control against Hunter.
It can seem pretty daunting to race a Hunter. And especially since Allie does have a resource advantage now, I think Thijs is worried about running out of gas. I mean, he knows his deck better than we do. Maybe he doesn't have any burn left. Maybe Maybe he only has the 1 copy of Crackle and no other weapons or no other burn spells.
Right, and Thijs was not allowed to craft any specific card, so even if he has the dust to make a second Crackle, he's not allowed to do that. Same that applies to Allie, same applies to everybody within this sealed format challenge.
And they were allowed to use a free arena ticket if they were given one. I don't know if the free arena tickets were actually added to their accounts yet, but that could play a factor. If you go 12 wins, maybe a lot of your success is dependent on those 12 wins, because if you get that extra 400 gold or whatever it is, you can open quite a few more packs.
This is going to be a big swing for Team Void. Thijs picks up Clockwork Knight, which shuts down the Pilot Shredder. Easy trade into it. Allie is 1 turn away from playing King Crush. Animal Companion needs to hit Leok. Hits the Leok. Huge moment. Now, what's behind the Pilot Shredder door number 2? We saw the Mistress of Pain. Now we see apparently Frodan. The catches social. Hey, that's me.
Yeah.
I guess I'm Team Light.
Yeah. For people that didn't know, that was I can't remember who it was that posted on Twitter, but somebody or on Reddit that Gadget and Socialite looks a lot like Frodan when he was wearing when he had his purplish pink hair and his green jacket. It was like BlizzCon last year.
Good times, good times. Thijs counting up the damage right now. 5 plus the 5 from.
There is a lethal potential here.
He has to hit 4 or higher. That's good enough. Team Void gets onto the board, and Thijs able to get the damage just in time because Hunter was pretty much about to win the board back with that big King Crush play.
Yeah, Hunter is I think an interesting choice. It's hard to build a good Hunter deck with just the basic cards. You
think so?
Yeah, from experimentation, Hunter was the deck that I felt like I needed the most help with from my packs.
Gotcha.
It can synergize well with mechs because you get an early mech start and then you can close out the game with your hero power. Especially since the clock that other decks can put on you because of the lower quality of cards that they have is much lower than what you'd see in regular wild. So that hero power 2 damage a turn can really add up because the games tend to when they get into that grindy phase tend to go on for a long time.
Yeah, it makes sense. I was thinking how Hunter has so many strong classic cards, but I wasn't necessarily considering the basic cards.
Yeah.
And Allie, she's bought the Hunter, and I don't think that was a bad choice, but it didn't work out. She was 1 turn away from being able to maybe try to win back the board. I want to actually chat with them and see how they're doing, because right now Team Light is down 0-1. So Allie, are you feeling okay after that L, or do you feel like Thijs just got lucky there?
I mean, I felt like if I would have been able to drop King Crush, like you were saying, I was going to be able to, retake the board. Yeah, the 5 damage Crackle was a little on the lucky side. It was a lot of damage from hand, but, that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess.
Thijs, did you get lucky, or is Allie just reading too much into things?
I think it might be the teammates already putting a little bit of too much salt into it. I think that went like... There could nothing go wrong. That was completely in control, and yeah, at the end, right before. But I think I had a lot of surprise damage left too.
Do you feel like now that you played 1 game against each other that you would say have a grudge against each other?
Oh. All right.
I mean, yeah, obviously we're gonna take Team Void down here.
All right. Well, I like it. I like the spirit. I didn't catch the last part of that, Thijs, but I assume that it was very healthy trash talk. Not only very competitive, but also biting.
Yes.
Given that Allie Strauss had lost the first game. But good luck in the second game, guys, and thanks so much for checking in with us. Now remember, guys, the way that they have to play is not like the normal tournament formats that you guys see. They have to choose a different class now, no matter what. So Thijs can't pick the Shaman just because he won, and people sometimes see Conquest. Allie can't play Hunter. They brought 3 decks and 3 classes, different classes, excuse me, and they're going to play something different for Game 2.
Yeah, and it's going to be cool to see. You know, I mentioned it earlier, a lot of times when you have to build 3 decks with a limited pool, you have like one deck that you feel good with, one deck that you feel okay about, and one deck that you just hate.
Yeah.
and don't want to play it all.
You really hope that your deck that you're feeling good with wins.
Yeah.
And so that way you can compensate for the deck that you don't feel good with. But again, I mean, it's all about if your deck is better than your opponent's. Not necessarily that deck's good.
The third deck is where you tuck your Boulder Fist Ogres and your War Golems in. Just your filler basics and classics that you open, your commons.
I mean, you're kind of talking trash on Boulder Fist Ogre. I think that card's pretty reliable at 6 mana.
Yeah, sometimes I jam it into my standard decks right now on the ladder and see if it gets work done. It dodges BGH.
It does dodge BGH. And at least for 2 more days, I can innervate it out as early as turn 4.
Yes, you can. Just think, though, in a little bit, you'll be able to innervate out on turn 5. That's okay. And then you can curve into Spreading Plague.
Too soon. Way too soon. Mech Mage is a deck that I expect to see a lot for this week. I think Mech Mage was one of the most powerful decks when it was introduced in Goblins versus Gnomes. And Allie has Mage here. Thijs has Priest. Now, how do we actually feel Priest can perform? Because Priest is a class that tends to get criticized as a weak class in the basic and classic cards.
Yeah, now, I think Priest is actually pretty well situated as long as you expect your opponents to bring aggressive decks. Because the one thing about this format is that it does tend to lean towards aggressive decks because it's harder to find big control tools. It's harder to find those big legendaries or whatever that you need. And Priest is the best deck with their basic cards and with very limited resources to deal with aggressive decks. Because in a format like this, you run out of resources really quickly with an aggressive deck because you use all your cards. A lot of times you have limited card draw or not very efficient aggro tools.
Sure.
And also, you can see a card there tucked in the bottom left for Thijs. Velen's Chosen. Man, it's actually super powerful. It's very hard to remove a minion that gets Velen's Chosen. So Thijs has that tool available to him as well. So I like Thijs in this one, but again, Mage has some of the most powerful basic cards in the game with Frostbolt, Fireball, Water Elemental, Flame Strike.
Man, I had forgotten about Velen's Chosen. That card had dominated limited formats in Hearthstone for a while. For Priest, it was a big redeeming factor for that class during that set, at least in Arena. Allie wants to play pretty efficiently here by using Flame Cannon, a very powerful but random spell, so you have to be cautious with the timing of it. And looks like Thijs hasn't had an opportunity to have a minion stick on the board. Desperate for cards, plays the Acolyte of Pain. Now, Allie can deal with this in a few ways.
Yeah. Frostbolt, Polymorph, if she really wants to deny the card draw, which seems ambitious, especially since she has no idea what's in Thijs' deck. And
right.
Now, you can tell Thijs is playing a more controlled game plan because he has Flash Heal. That may just be a card that he's like, well, I have 28 cards in my deck. I need to fill it with something. Or
he has an Arcanine Soul Priest and potentially could use it as burn damage to either kill minions or kill Allie Straza.
Yeah. Is Arcanine is it a common classic or is it a basic?
It's a rare.
Oh, it's a rare. Okay.
Yes, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right now that I think about it. So, a card that you saw a little bit earlier that is a common. It's a classic. It's not a basic card. Was Mana Worm. And that's a huge one because strong turn 1 plays are hard to come by in a limited format.
Well, Thijs originally wanted to set up this Acolyte of Pain to get a good draw, but Allie Straza has very cleverly set up taunts that have 0 attack. So if an Acolyte attacks into this, it will not draw a card. And Thijs, in order to get past it, will have to use Holy Nova instead. He chooses to play the Velen's Chosen. That Acolyte's really intimidating. However, it's like you said, TJ.
Polymorph.
The Polymorph is super powerful in this position.
You have to expect those basic cards, man.
It's a 3-card swing. It's the fact that Acolyte usually can draw 2 cards from this spot, at least. And then you're also denied the fact that it can draw a card. Thijs is distraught. That was not the card that he hoped to see.
She's got the perfect cards!
She needed precisely those 2 cards. Well, actually, in this case, she needed precisely that 1 card to beat me.
Injured Blade Master. That's a good one.
It's a good one to have for sure. It's one of you know, people often joke that Injured Blade Master is just a priest card. Have seen it in a couple of other interesting jank decks, like back in the day, Shaman played it for a very funny cheese combo of Injured Blade Master and Ancestral Healing.
Oh yeah. And the Priest vs. Priest Mirrors of old, where they both play Injured Blade Master's Circle of Healing on 3, and then neither of those Injured Blade Masters ever die.
Whew. Well, in this case, the Injured Blade Master Circle of Healing heals the Water Elemental, so that would not be good for Thijs.
Could go with Flash Heal instead to opt out of the Circle of Healing, which I like this better. It still keeps it alive. You make the Water Elemental more reasonable to deal with, but
I like it as well.
Allie still has ways to deal with this.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage coming in. 12 in the hand with Firebolt, 2 Frostbolts. With 4 on board, so that's 16. She's getting close. But for now, because Thijs hasn't demonstrated a way to actually deal with the board, I would like to see her just kill this Injured Blade Master and move on with her life. Priest can get way out of hand if you let him stick a high health minion like the Injured Blade Master. Divine Spirit is a basic card. Like, if you can't kill that now, if that thing becomes 14 health, you're definitely not killing that.
Yeah. This mage deck sort of reminds me of somebody who had like a Europe account that they built an arena deck on 2.5 years ago and never finished it.
Are you referencing somebody, or you're saying that this is something that happens?
No, this is something that happens.
Oh, yeah, that happens to me. You know, even not necessarily like from 2.5 years ago, but like I have a Reno deck on one of my accounts on a different region that like it's not even available anymore in Arena because you can't play League of Explorers, but I still have it for nostalgia.
Yeah, I have a 2-0 Priest deck on my Europe account that has like 4 Sludge Belchers, and I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to play it. I refuse to play any games on it. I play like 1 game every year.
I'm waiting for Crypt to have the same exact record as you.
Yeah, on his Europe account.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna snipe Reno the Cripperino.
Oh, nice.
And I will have the perfect cards.
You should have just been on Team Void this one and then brought that instead.
I do have my Team Void card back with me here. My real life Team Void card back.
A Stable Portal is a card that we hadn't seen in quite some time, and it can summon any minion. I imagine that it's gotten some power level changes over time, considering that there's a lot of minions. That could have been, I don't know, some of the new legendary minions from Knights of the Frozen Throne. Like, that could have been Syndragosa. Yeah,
it's kind of funny. It's one of the most fun cards to play with in the game when you go back to Wild, just because you never know what's in the box. But Thijs definitely struggling here, not picking up any tools to deal with the board again, trying to heal up out of range of what Allie can do. And she got 5 + 7, getting pretty close to lethal damage.
Yeah, Thijs is just stalling for an opportunity to swing the board. Doesn't seem like it's coming, though.
Woohoo!
That's a Finicky Cloak Field. That used to be the spell that you wanted with Archmage Antonidas.
Yep.
That was your finisher for Mech Mage back in the day. I don't think Allie probably has an Antonidas in her deck, just because it's very hard to get multiple legendaries in this format, and she already has a King Crush.
They're guaranteed 2 classic legendaries based off the packs. It's a little bit lucky if you get more, because you get 1 from the welcome bundle that they were able to open, and then with the card pack changes, you get a guaranteed legendary in your first 10 packs of a set.
Ah, I see. So it is possible.
So they're guaranteed 2. And Archmage Antonidas is one of those class legendaries that fit in that welcome bundle, that set of 9 legendaries, the basic class or classic class legendaries that you can get. So it is possible. We saw King Crush, but we'll have to see.
It may seem that Allie might have a connection issue here, because otherwise I interpret it as her turn would have actually resolved, probably attack, and keep the Pilot Shredder under wraps there. Thijs, not really sure what's going on here, so we'll probably figure out what actually ends up happening here, and hopefully we can resolve that ASAP. Now, coming up next after the series, we have Jackie Chan versus Raynad, and then, of course, closing out the day. It's not going to be a long broadcast. We have Dog versus the Cripperino himself. And And you mentioned that you were able to watch some of these broadcasters show their decks because they were streaming some of their action and the pack openings.
Yeah, I think by watching Jackie and Dog had a pretty good amount of success. Dog didn't play that much, but in the time that he played, it felt like he had a good understanding of what his decks were trying to do. Same case for Jackie. I think Jackie got the highest ranked out of any of the players in Constructed Wild. He got all the way up to, the last I checked, like rank 12.
Wow.
Which is pretty good considering
most people right
they're
now.
playing some janky, limited format decks with very limited legendaries and epics, and they're going up against people playing Wild, a bunch of egg druids that can kill them on turn 4, and other things as well.
Yeah, there are some interesting decks in Wild. If you guys haven't dipped, oh my gosh,
there it is.
Yeah,
It's a shame
that's a
if she's
real
not able to
shame.
use it.
Because she had the winning combo, and she would have done damage. I don't think Thijs would have come back with that. So we'll have to eventually get the admin ruling on that. It looked like Allie Strauss, based off the way the draws were, was in a very big chance to win the game from that point on. But like we said, we'll go ahead and try to fish down Allie and see if we can get a resolution on that game. TJ looking very menacing.
In the meantime, we
with
can
your cards.
sling some cards for Dan.
I play Antonitis, and I play the Finicky Clofield.
Intervade, Interfade, Ultimate Infestation.
What do you even Ultimate Infestation?
Your face.
Well, I play 4 Sorcerer's Apprentices and Infinite Fireball. Oh, I need a spell. 4 Sorcerer's Apprentice.
You use all your cards for Dan.
And Ice Block.
That's the biggest Quest Mage error in the books.
Well, you know, hopefully you guys have a chance to also participate. If you guys want to vote in the chat, you can type HS Light or HS Void, and a little emote pops up to support. We'll be tracking that. Also, make sure you guys, if you have Twitch Prime already, link your accounts. It's link.twitch.tv/Oktoberbrawl. Not to mention that if you haven't Twitch Prime already, you get all the benefits, free subscription every month, as well as you know, a bunch of other cool stuff like Twitch Loot, which has been coming out for a bunch of different games.
Yeah.
Not just even Hearthstone, but Here's the Storm gets crates, Overwatch gets crates. So if you're a big Blizzard fan, it's a lot of incentive to partake in this.
Yeah, and if you have Amazon Prime, you can just get
Link
Twitch
it.
Prime
That's
just
right.
like that. So definitely a cool thing, and there's going to be more rewards for Hearthstone in the coming weeks. So definitely something that you want to get on board now.
Yeah, I think one of the big concerns was, is this eligible in my country? And the answer is most likely yes. I can't guarantee all 200 plus countries in the world, but Prime Video is now available for most regions around the globe. Therefore, if you're able to get Prime Video, you can get Twitch Prime as well, which you can also get this and link to your account. And of course, there's a bunch of cool stuff on Prime Video too, a bunch of exclusive series or fun stuff that you can watch. We have the polls, by the way, of the HS Void and the HS Light. So let's see who is currently dominating.
Whoa!
And it's a lot closer than people might think. Before it was 70-30 for Team Void. Now it's almost 60-40, kind of close to that.
It's getting close, and I'm curious to see the outcome of today. If the winning team is actually going to get more votes, or if the losing team is going to get all the sympathy votes, because their decks are just so bad that they felt like people need to vote for them to give them more packs.
I do want closer games. I don't want just a complete stomp. So I would vote for the sympathy vote. So if Team Light is losing now, I'd probably vote for them. If Team Void is losing the following week, I'd probably start playing for them.
You have the you're rocking the Team Light card back there, Dan.
Only because you took the Team Void, and TJ said these look cooler, so I'm taking that.
I'm a really big Dog fan. Sorry. Rocking my
and
Team Void
Thijs
card
and
back.
Jackie fan.
Yeah, and Tyson Jackie fan. But mostly I just spend my days in Dog's chat.
That is
Making
true.
memes.
Making memes and watching him play the Fatigue Warrior as well. Big reminder for you guys as well is that this will be going for 4 weeks. The last week is a mystery because we know this week will be the Goblins vs. Nubman, the Grand Tournament. Following week will be Whispers of the Old Gods and Me Streets of Gadgetzan. Last week will be Journey to Ngoro and Knights of the Frozen Throne. TJ, are we allowed to tease what's going to be for the 4th week, or is that just kept on the wraps?
No, it's a mystery. I don't even think I know. I'd have to rack my
You
brain.
don't actually know.
I do know a little bit. I don't know the exact rules. I know like kind of what cards they're going to be allowed to play with.
Okay.
But it kind of spoils the
It's a
fun.
mystery amount of packs that they get, right? Is that what it is?
Could be.
It could be. What if it's like what happened to the Avengers, TJ?
I don't know what happened to the adventures, Dan.
Okay, because I mean, there's One Night in Karazhan.
There's a lot of adventures.
Black Rock Mountain. There's League of Explorers, Curse of Naxxramas, and they have some very powerful cards.
Some of the most iconic cards in Hearthstone are from the adventures, so
That's
that could be a possibility. But also, we could talk a little bit about what's on the line for these grudge matches.
Sure, go ahead.
They're not just playing for funsies. Every week, the winning team gets to inflict a sabotage upon their opponent at the finals, the Oktober Fest finals, so our Oktoberbrawl finals,
which is happening at TwitchCon.
Just happening at
20th.
TwitchCon, yeah. And some of them are kind of friendly. Some of them just make it harder to play Hearthstone at the finals. But I can guarantee that it's going to be really fun once we reveal all the sabotages for each week. Because if one team wins them all, I can guarantee the other team is going to have a really tough time. Not just winning, like actually playing the game of Hearthstone, but physically playing the game of Hearthstone.
Yeah, we've got some interesting sabotages suggested on both sides. Some of them ranging from really ridiculous ones to some actually really annoying ones. And the whole point is just to have fun. It's going to be live at TwitchCon, by the way. They kind of announced the Oktoberbrawl finals happening at TwitchCon, which will have all 6 of our participating members, plus I think myself and Firebat will be doing that. And one thing that's also really cool too is we're having, during that block of time, we're also going to have the CEO of Twitch, Emmett Shear, go up against the president of Blizzard, Mike Morhaime, in a rematch. Now, that's actually a grudge match.
That is actually a grudge match. And I don't know exactly, I don't think they're going to be able to build their own decks.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to be the fun part, because they're going to be playing with decks that other people build for them, which is going to be pretty cool. But definitely a little bit of rivalry, and
there's a lot of rivalry between them too, because they're both like control players too. And when we gave them the option, Mike Morhaime and Emmett both brought Control Warlock. They brought Handlock to the show match, so it was some pretty intense back and forth action that's going to be happening at TwitchCon. I believe Thijs and Allie have rejoined us on the call, so we'll go ahead and check in with them. Allie, you doing okay?
I'm doing all right. I can't believe that happened. Power just completely went out.
Yeah,
so,
it looked like you had. I mean, Thijs wasn't really doing much to your board. He just kept kind of passing. So I think Thijs must be feeling pretty good about it. You doing all right there, Thijs?
I mean, DCs are never cool, to be honest. So I think that's never gonna be a good feeling.
I don't think we told you the rules, Thijs. The sabotages are supposed to come after the matches at the finals.
Yeah, not supposed to disconnect her now.
That's not until later. So just take it easy, man. It's just a fun competition.
For sure. Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys, did either of you watch their streams or like prepare at all and like got a sense of what decks that they're playing prior to this match?
Some scouting.
Well, I knew there was like, I knew she has Antonidas in this deck also. That's what I know. Like I knew she would bring Mech Mage. That was not a surprise, but the other classes were a little bit hard for me.
Okay. Allie?
I went into Thijs' VODs last night and tried to scope out his deck. So I know his Mech Mage has got a Mechanical Yeti, a couple Clockwork Gnomes, but saw the Shaman list. I forget the last one, but yeah, did a little bit of scouting.
Oh, wow. That's when you're supposed to put up the premium wall. If they're going to try to get intel, make them pay for it.
Yeah, make them sub.
Subscriber-only VODs.
Yeah. Of course, you make the rest of your audience pay, but
I
think it's worth it for the grudge matches.
Oh yeah, I mean, at that point, that's just a collateral damage. But I'm feeling like we're gonna get this match underway in just a second here. We didn't actually get a ruling yet, right, on what actually happened there?
I don't think so. Maybe regame.
All right, cool, gotcha. Talk to me, Thijs, about what it's like working with Dog and Jackie. Have you collaborated with them beforehand?
Yeah, we have been like talking here and there a little bit. For me and Dog, it's a little bit hard to adapt sometimes towards the cards that are available. We are so based on playing always constructed, so it's definitely but Jackie has great ideas. Like he always comes up with great ideas. Now I was like, I felt that Priest was a thing that I could go with the cards I gained. And we came up with a pretty cool deck, I think.
I like how you didn't include Jackie in the we normally play constructed, because while Jackie plays constructed, it's in a much different way than a lot of people do. He basically forces himself to play in a limited
But that's really
format.
helpful for the team.
Yeah.
It's actually really helpful for the team in this kind of format. Way more creativity is definitely what we need now.
All right, well, Allie, I want to ask you as well. You know, as much as we kind of were talking about it beforehand, how much has Reynad and Crip's influence played on your decks, or have you guys kind of independently come up with ideas and then bring them together?
So we brought them together this morning, really. We've kind of just gone at it from an independent standpoint, and then we've just been discussing like, oh, maybe I should swap this card for this card, but it's kind of hard to for them not to see my collection and vice versa, but just, you know, just kind of see what you're working with. But yeah, no, we've been going over some cards, sent them all my deck list this morning, so yeah, it's been fun.
Reynad is renowned as one of the best deck builders in all of Hearthstone.
Yes.
Yeah. He actually is the father of Hearthstone. He created the game.
Did he build your decks, Allie? Don't say yes.
No, he did not build my decks, but he did give me some
good.
helpful little pointers on a few cards. So I was glad to have the deck master. There you
Gotcha.
go.
I hope he didn't recommend Shield Bearer.
Yeah.
No?
You know,
Okay.
he did. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank God he's not here in studio to actually tell us a story about that. I noticed that you have also brought Yachera along for this match.
Yes.
You are aware that Hearthstone's a 1v1 competition, right? You're not allowed to have
You're.
any kind of allies or friends to help you there.
Yeah, does this change things? Is this considered cheating if I've got Yachera here with me?
Oh
Maybe.
man, well, it's taking us this long to get one admin ruling. Let's not mess it up by trying to get a second one here.
It's okay. Thijs has his hubcap trophy.
That's
Oh,
right.
That that is a second person as well. Just so you know.
It's big enough to count as one.
Yes.
For sure. For sure, awesome. Are you guys excited to come to TwitchCon, by the way? Have you guys been to a TwitchCon before, Thijs?
No, I haven't. So I'm actually really excited to go for TwitchCon for the first time and yeah, see what's all going on there during TwitchCon.
Do you have any special fans or meetups or anything planned for it at all, or are you going to explore Southern California when you're there?
No, I definitely plan on doing a fan meeting. Not sure if it is. Maybe I just organize something also by myself. But yeah, definitely also maybe I wanted to come a day earlier and check out the whole California a little bit. But I'm definitely also TwitchCon. It just sounds amazing. Now streaming every day. I stream quite some on Twitch, so it is. I'm actually also really looking forward to meet everybody.
Yeah, in fact, over the past, I think, year and a half, and maybe it's almost 2 years now, you've been one of the big exploding broadcasters on the Hearthstone section. What's that journey been like for you? And just see that reception, because for a long time, people used to argue, like, competitive players couldn't necessarily only focus on streaming, but you've seemed to be able to do both, Thijs. How do you do it?
It is not always possible to do both because you cannot do two things for 100%. But I feel that I have a pretty decent or good balance where I compete at the big tournaments like the HCT tour, that I'm always there. And but streaming is also just a lot of fun for me. It's so amazing to see if there are like so many people joining every day, and you just have fun playing the game together. I really feel we are playing it together then.
Gotcha. And Allie, I wanted to ask you, have you been to TwitchCon? I feel like you have, because you're like so close to it, right?
Yeah, I went last year. It was honestly a lot of fun. I'm super hyped for this year. It's just fun to like meet people in the community. We got like a lot of different little side events going on. So yeah, it's I'm very excited.
Gotcha. Is your chair coming along? You know, Brian Kibler's bringing Shiro, for example. So
Yeah.
you don't want to go empty-handed.
Might be a little hard to transport her, but well, we can figure something out there. Figure out along.
Yachera is your mode of transport, Al. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, guys, and I believe we're just going to have to replay the game there, so big thank you for Allie and Thijs for the sportsmanship there, and of course, we're going to get game number 2, which is Priest vs. Mage, underway momentarily, but yeah, really excited to see these guys and gals at TwitchCon, which is going to be October 20th. For the official finals.
Yeah, in a way, if you consider Twitch their second home, they're kind of going to meet their tens of thousands of landlords.
That's right, all at one time.
It's a dad joke.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's a very TJ joke.
It's a TJ joke. You also own a handful of puppies, so you kind of feel like you have your own family going on.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go ahead and get this game number 2 underway. Remember, it's a best of 3. For people kind of coming into late to the stream, this is the Oktoberbrawl. We call it grudge matches. Doesn't seem to be any real bad blood between Thijs and Allie. They're very positive, fun-loving people. If you haven't had a chance to check out their streams, you absolutely should. They love engaging, talking to their viewers. And of course, the big thing too is you get to watch them struggle on the ladder a little bit with this limited format because they play on the ranked play servers just like you do with these decks.
Yeah, if you're lucky, maybe you can go up against them and show them who's boss on the wild ladder with your full and flourishing collections of wild cards.
Definitely.
Or not. You can try and mimic their decks and see if you can beat them at their own game.
Well, it's hard, you know. You only get a few cards. You have to dip into wild where... Gotta remind you that wild packs, you know, for a while were not available on the store, and in the summer were recently reopened for purchase.
Yeah, still not in the client, but you can purchase them online. All the wild packs, all the cards that were rotated into the wild set. But getting into it, Thijs, a pretty similar hand to what he was dealt in the previous game, as well as Allie Strauza. She's got the Mana Worm, the Mech Warper, the Flame Cannon, and actually, all these cards we saw in the last game somewhere or another, except the Circle of Healing.
These are almost exactly the same cards.
Funny how that works. I guess it's a good thing.
We're just missing a Polymorph, I guess?
Yeah.
Well, Allie this time has some real explosive stuff. Although, the power behind Mech Warper was being able to play cheap stuff to protect the Mech Warper to eventually get ridiculous tempo. So you'd play one Mech Warper, which let the second one be 1 mana, which let your Noyotron be free. And then you could play Pilot Shredder for 2, and then Inspired Tank for 1, and then just you got too far behind.
Yeah, but with 2 Mech Warpers and no other mechs, not as powerful. And it's a pretty tough decision here, you know, whether or not to coin out the second one because it costs 1 mana, but you're still leaving, you know, your Mana Worm a little bit vulnerable if there's Valence Chosen, which there is. And then it's the decision for Thijs of, you know, what do you trade over?
It's a brand new game now. When you get the Valence Chosen to stick, as opposed to the previous time where Thijs was not able to have a minion stick. And I think Allie's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. She does have the Flame Cannon. Flame Cannon is very nice for removal. If you're Thijs, what would you want to kill here, the Mech Warper or the Mana Worm?
That's really tough. Because you know that coin's in the hand, so automatically you can assume that this Mana Worm is a 2/2. But I think the mech synergy with the coin is even more frightening, because what if a second Mech Warper comes down and then say coin a Noyotron Pilot Shredder, and just that huge swing that you talked about? It's probably a little bit more threatening at this stage. And Allie can remove this Noyotron. It just takes basically the whole turn, and no development beyond it unless a coin Mech Warper does come out.
It is valuable to do so. That is a Forgotten Torch, which I believe is from the League of Explorers set.
All right.
How did that happen?
So the Forgotten Torch is actually given to all accounts. It's a weird. It was a promotion back in the day, and it stuck.
Really?
Yeah. So Forgotten Torch is actually in all accounts.
So I have a Forgotten Torch in my free-to-play account right now, and I just don't know.
I believe so. Unless
I'm gonna check right now.
Unless we just unlocked Forgotten Torch in those accounts. But when we were playtesting it, Forgotten Torch and Cthulhu are given to you right away.
Right. I remember Cthulhu. That was a free thing given, as well as Beckoner of Evils, right?
I thought we actually. I looked over the rules. And when we were playtesting, we actually made a note to say Forgotten Torch is banned because it's a League of Explorers card. But I don't think that actually made it to the final rules.
Gotcha. So it's eligible and it's free and it's given to everybody.
Yes. So everybody has access to it. So it kind of gives you a little bit of bonus when you play Mage. But all of the accounts that already have Cthulhu and they already have Forgotten Torch. So it's going to be interesting when we get to the Whispers of the Old Gods. You don't need to actually open Cthulhu. You just need to open the Cthulhu buffers in order to play that in your deck. So that could be a possibility moving into the future weeks. But yeah, Forgotten Torch, that was a weird thing that we really didn't know how to handle when we were doing playtesting. I actually, when we were doing the playtesting, a funny story, I actually played the card against one of the other people on the Hearthstone esports team, and he disqualified me. He made the ruling because he said, that's a League of Explorers card. You can't use that. And I said, I didn't open any League of Explorers. It's an adventure. We can't unlock the adventures. And we look back and everybody had it, so we're just like, whatever.
Interesting. I don't remember the Forgotten Torch being given at everybody. But
I don't either, but it was in all of the master accounts that we gave, so.
It's definitely something I want to verify later on. I'm going to check right after this broadcast. Allie's going to kill this Is Acolyte deny double draw of it? Only one available now. Thijs picks up one of the best cards to answer Water Elemental in Shadow or Pain. Also has a mech.
It's a Gilban Stalker as well. That's a card that was put into Priest decks because it guaranteed a target for Belen's Chosen the following turn. Because the 2-mana stealth and you curve right into Belen's Chosen. It was actually played in some, you know, top tier Priest list back in the day because of that guarantee to have a minion stick for Belen's Chosen, because it was such a powerful card, and the thing that Priest struggled with was keeping an early minion alive.
That's right. That's right.
So kind of funny to see it again. I like how Thijs sort of remembering back to the days probably of when he used to play that card in his Priest decks and putting it in now.
Allie plays this Pilot Shredder, and she's she's been able to keep the Antonius and the coin very nicely so far, which allows her to get a free Fireball. Plus, she can go for big tempo swings later on if she's not, of course, killing Thijs straight up. Thijs has the Fiola Lightbane. It's a cool legendary. Goes with some of the Priest cards such as Power Shield and Belen's Chosen, but doesn't seem anything more than just a 3-mana 3/4 right now.
Yeah, I believe it does give Divine Shield whenever you cast a buff on it, or a spell in general. I think you can actually cast it with damaging spells and still get a Divine Shield, but like the interaction is kind of weird with that. But of course, why would you want to do that in the first place? There's almost no point to it in the long run. But definitely struggling for resources with Thijs, and Allie's got a ton of tools. And I want to see Thijs' face when he sees Forgotten Torch. I don't know if it'll register in his brain that if he hasn't been playing with Mage, he probably doesn't realize why Forgotten Torch is available. But he doesn't seem like he realizes. Or he already knows.
Well, Fiola Lightbane gets the Power Word Shield, and Thijs going to get the Divine Shield, which is going to be annoying for Allie to deal with. While the Pyromancer's just a minion to play. And now you can see the product of Thijs not having that card draw and how damaging it is to the Priest class.
Yeah, really needs a Northsire Cleric. Actually, Circle of Healing can clear this off, because the healing comes first and then the damage comes second. It's a 1 health minion, so it would die anyway. So Thijs takes board control, but at the moment he's got 0 resources. So from his perspective, these minions have to last essentially for the rest of the game in order for him to win. And now Allie picks up Mirror Image, which can be coupled with Archmage Antonidas, can also coin, or she can go for, you know, Archmage Antonidas coin Annoyatron and then hope it sticks, and the next turn Mirror Image if she wants to get greedy.
It's true. I do feel like she also has really good options to just simply remove stuff on the board and play other minions and use Antonidas as the cleanup. You know, a lot of this stuff in her hand is more of the top of the batting lineup. And then you have, once the bases get loaded, you have Antonidas slam it home.
Ah, sports ball.
Yeah, sports ball.
Maybe after that they'll get a slam dunk.
That's right. And then they could kick a field goal.
Indeed.
For the win.
Time runs out on me.
I think Archmage Antonidas is... well, okay. So if you wait a turn, you can Archmage Antonidas
coin
Forgotten Torch.
If you wait a turn, you can Antonidas Forgotten Torch coin Mirror.
There you go. That's 3 fireballs. And that looks to be at least part of the plan at the moment. And Thijs may be onto something here, because coin has been held for the entire game. There has been powerful plays that she could have made with the coin. So Thijs, if he's really paying attention, can make the read that Antonidas is in hand, because that's one of the only reasons why you hold coin for that long. I mean, it's going to turn 9, and coin is still in the hand.
Fiola Lightbane keeps gaining Divine Shield.
Oh, Shadow Boxer.
Not necessarily the most powerful card right here. Just I forgot that was a mech card. Whenever a character gets healed, it deals a damage. And there's some really funny combos with Circle of Healing with that card.
Need a lot of 1 damage bolts.
Yep, and even Northshire Cleric. I remember playing Cleric with the Shadow Boxer and doing some fun stuff with that.
Yeah. But it looks like Antonidas is probably slated for this turn. With Forgotten Torch, I'd imagine. Clear off everything but the Fiola Lightbane in that case. And then outside of Mind Control or Shadow or Death,
Mind Control.
Thijs has no way to deal with it. Mind Control actually is probably pretty good in this format because at some point,
card too.
yeah, it's a basic card. At some point, you get in this grindy battle where you're both just slamming threats turn after turn. And if you run out of cards, that can be, you know, what gets you a little bit of an edge. Of course, if he Mind Controls it, it just gets fireballed and pinged down, but at least he doesn't have to deal with Archmage Tinnitus. Thijs is sweating.
He's pretty unhappy to see this. I mean, he kind of mentioned it earlier that he was aware that Allie had this in her deck. Now he's afraid. What if that Mind Control comes and steals it, and all of a sudden Allie's momentum is halted to just this damage? That's still a lot of damage, though. And by the way, Micro Machine's also kind of threatening its own.
Yeah, especially tucked behind mirror images. Flash heal!
That's not it.
No.
That's not it. I think Thijs is in big trouble here. There's 5 damage from Tinnitus plus the 6.
24, I count?
Yep.
With a ping. But you can just go for it. And outside of a miracle, I don't even know a card that could help.
I mean, Thijs would have to draw a ton here in order to be able to win, but he would have to have Northshire Cleric be able to pick up in a series of amazing draws. Allie is all but assured the victory. As long as she does anything involving 10 mana here, she's going to be great.
Yeah. And gonna opt to play a little bit more conservative and polymorph the Fuel of Light Bane.
Sure.
Try and protect the minions on board. I mean, basically any line of play wins here outside of fireballing her own Antonitis twice. And even then,
she'd probably still win. I think she was shutting down the possibility of Thijs having like Inner Fire of some capacity. Yeah, Divine Spirit, Inner Fire, and if there's some way for Thijs to draw multiple cards. But now the 99.9% victory has turned to 100 for Allie, and that's going to be game 2. The series is tied. And no longer is Thijs feeling as comfortable with his lead, because anything can happen game 3. Remember, they have to go to a different deck for the final game.
And it comes down to their final decks. And I wonder what the strategy is here. Is it, you know, save your best deck for last? Or is it the reject deck that you threw all the cards you had left into that deck and hope it works out in the end? Is that going to be the third deck?
It depends. If you're playing for screen time, you want to put your best deck for last, I guess, or maybe one of your better decks
best deck
first.
for second.
I guess your worst deck for second. You maximize screen time.
Yeah.
If you're just going to try to go for it and get the win, be efficient with your time, I think you do for best 2 decks first.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, because it's definitely a struggle to build 3 decks that can actually do things with that limited amount of card pool, especially in week 1, because they have access to not very many packs at all.
Sure. I think we might check in with Thijs and Allie really quick just for one question there. So over to Thijs, I wanted to ask you, what went wrong that one game for you, man?
Nah, I think it was just a little bit the priest. It was definitely not my greatest of the 3 decks, but yeah, I think the matchup against Mage is really bad for me. I was hoping to queue something else.
No worries. Allie, you had Forgotten Torches in your deck, and TJ told me that was a free promotion, so that kind of took me off guard. Antonitis was getting you some pretty big heavy lifting done in that deck as well, so just hats off to you.
Yes, Antonitis was MVP there.
All right, cool. Well, we're getting ready for game number 3, so good luck. Remember, a winner takes all, so bring your best, because I believe the internet is watching right now. So game 3 is about to begin, guys. I don't know what classes that they've chosen. It's not written down for us here. So do you have any insight, TJ, into what their third deck is?
Nope.
Okay.
None whatsoever. I think Mage is usually a choice, so I think Thijs' third deck might be Mage, because Mage is one of the best decks that's synergized with Nex. It has some of the best basic cards. If you open Antonitis, which you have like effectively a 2 in 9 chance to open Antonitis, maybe even more, especially for Team Void, because they got a little bit more classic packs from the deal. Actually, no, they actually got different the expansion packs from the promotion, from the voting. So no, maybe not. But Thijs also has the Forgotten Torch, so I'm glad he didn't try and think it was forget that it was allowed, or say, oh, that's a League of Explorers card, I can't use that, I'm a rule follower. No, it's allowed, but that's a pretty good mech curve.
It's a pretty good mech curve, and the question becomes, can Allie get board control before? It looks like she's playing the Warlock deck, and she gambled a little bit. She gambled by not having a 1-mana play, and now she is punished for it. Or is she? That is a Flame Imp coming to turn 1. And that is just better than the Cogmaster, head-to-head.
Yeah. Zoo is a powerful deck when you have limited resources because you can just pack a bunch of small minions into the deck and keep generating more resources with life tap. So definitely a choice that I was expecting to at least see some of as far as deck choices go. And that's a tough thing to deal with for Thijs. Can't play Cogmaster because it gets traded over. You don't really want to throw away Mech Warper at all. So he's actually just going to pass, and I think he's going for a swing turn, maybe see what Allie has, and then decide next turn if Frostbolt's the right play or Frostbolt coin Cogmaster. I think that Thijs at this point is kind of on the path of, I need to go for a big mech swing turn. You know, get my Mech Warper out and play as many mechs in a turn as possible. Whoa! That Arcane Missiles could be a full clear, as long as none of those 3 missiles go to the face.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit unreliable. I like Thijs' slow play here. I think he was originally leaning towards Frostbolt originally, and just trying to evaluate what happens. But now maybe he's thinking, do I have to go back onto the board earlier? Or how does Arcane Missiles change the math? Like maybe if it hits 3 minions, or hits all 3 hits, go onto minions, he can play maybe the Cogmaster to just challenge the board.
Instead of having the coin ping.
Right.
If he does that next turn, you go Mech Warper coin Spider Tank, which would be 4 mana total, so a lot to think about here. Arcane Missiles, I don't know if it's ever getting better though. I think that's the thing. Ooh.
Interesting. So he's back at square 1. He can coin out Frostbolt now, yeah, and then up for just the 3-mana takeover. He has 2 options next turn. He has the Mech Warper and the Cogmaster, or he has the Spider Tank. And Spider Tank challenges this 2-3 very well. Or even the Snow Chugger.
Or Snow Chugger. That's not bad.
Yeah, Snow Chugger is a very powerful turn 4. So Mech Warper, Snow Chugger, Cogmaster. It's a lot of stats.
Ogre Brute.
The thing about Ogre Brute is it gets just a lot worse if there's only like 1 minion on board, but it gets even more complicated when there's a lot of minions.
Oh, yeah.
Ogre Brute's just nice because usually at 3 mana, because it's played so early, it can just challenge everything with raw stats, but when there starts getting to be like Annoyatrons and stuff, Ogre Brute actually does complicate things a lot.
Yeah, Ogre Brute, for people that may not know, it just has a 50% chance to attack the wrong target.
That's right. And it's selected randomly. So what ends up happening is it scans the first attack for the 50% chance, and if it says no, I'm not going to attack that, it'll hit everything else randomly.
Yeah. So if it has if you have 1 minion on board on the other side of Ogre Brute, then it's just 50-50 whether or not it hits the minion or it hits face.
Yeah. But it has a 100% chance for me to attack the minion that I just didn't want to attack.
Yep.
Yeah. So that it's got a 100% chance to attack the Emperor Cobra.
Yeah. And you draw patches every game. And you draw all your 7 drops in your opening hand.
That's right. Literally every most expensive card in my deck. Monocoil allows the efficient cycle, but the big problem for Allie is that she can't deal with this Mech Warper. Some nice, powerful cards come into the hand, though, for the future turns. This is looking like old school Zoo. The OG versions that plagued the ladder for so long.
And in this type of battle where they're both playing for the board, Zoo, I think, has a little bit of an edge in the long run because of life tap. Thijs is, at some point, is going to run out of resources, and unless the cards that he draws are, you know, big bombs or removal spells, I feel like eventually he's going to fall behind just because he's going to lose out on resources. But I think value trading is definitely the way to go here. Just try and minimize the impact and keep that Cogmaster buffed as much as possible.
Agreed. Keep the Cogmaster buffed, minimize your opponent to punish you with Defender of Argus, or in this case, Dark Iron Dwarf. Would have been a pretty severe punish. Alistraza has this Argent Commander, but nothing lines up too cleanly on the like 4 attack maximum damage. Normally you'd like to snipe something at 4 health, but maybe instead you just have to be satisfied with 2 damage maybe. And of course, the Ogre Brute math. What if Ogre Brute just doesn't attack the Chillin yet, or doesn't attack the right minion and hits the Mechanical Yeti instead?
Or hits the face.
Or hits the face. Although hitting the face is better than the Yeti, in my opinion.
Probably. It's kind of fun to look back on some of these old classic cards, and some of these cards were actually nerfed. Sheridan Cleric used to be a 3/3. Dark Iron Dwarf used to actually give a minion +2 attack permanently.
Oh,
back at the beginning of the game.
Interesting buggy interaction there. Ogre Brute attacking the minion it intended to. Thijs has a full clear available to him. He can kill off every single minion and dominate the board. 3/2 goes into the Voidwalker. The hero power onto the Ogre Brute. Most likely the Snow Chugger into the 3/2. He could probably part ways with Mech as well. Oh, interesting. So he wants to not play the Tinkertown Technician this turn?
I like the Tinkertown Technician better. I think it utilizes the mana better, and it also just puts more minion pressure on the board. Because next turn, just 2 2/2s on the board and a 3/1 is definitely not as powerful. But Allie does have Argent Commander in hand.
Yeah.
So that's going to slightly punish this line of play.
Yeah. Argent Commander plus the Finicky Cloak Field, which is interesting. Oh, this is really cute. Thijs using the reversing switch to heal the Cogmaster.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a very intuitive thing, but that's actually a very clever use of that 1-mana spare part.
Yeah, actually this is kind of a nod to something that Ben Brode actually posted on the forums the other day. I believe it was Ben Brode, one of the Hearthstone developers, about the interactions between buffs and sort of static effects on the board. So basically Cogmaster's attack was 3 there, so it swaps the health, but since his base attack then goes to 1, it gets buffed again by the static effect of the mech. So it actually, even though it's only swapping the stats of a minion, it actually ends up giving the Cogmaster just straight up stats because of that static effect.
Yeah, and now it's a 1-mana 3/3, putting a ton of pressure. Allie doesn't have guaranteed ways to deal with this. If both of the Flame Jugglers snipe the Snow Chugger, then she'll be back in business. But for now, things are looking bad, and the big problem is life tap is really painful at this point. Going down to 12 life or less, and the threat of fireballs and frostbolts is pretty severe.
Which I'm sure is in the deck. So now the good outcome is the Snow Chugger. Or Loot Hoarder, I guess. It both takes the same stats. Those...
Oh.
I mean, I guess it's not the worst. I think base would have been the worst, but... Because now you can trade into the Cogmaster with one of the 2 attack minions, I guess. But that still just feels really bad.
It's the expected result, but it's disappointing nonetheless. And you can see, I think Allie is kind of calculating all the odds. You know what she should have done? She should have Dark Iron Dwarf targeted for the Flame Juggler. You put the Dark Iron Dwarf buff on the target you want the Flame Jugglers to hit. Otherwise, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. We should put it on the Snow Chugger.
Yeah. It's like a hunter's mark.
So that was the misplay there.
Yeah. And Thijs draws Forgotten Torch, so I think right now it's all face and just start pinging down. He's got 27 health. He's got a lot to work with. He can even stealth a minion to sort of guarantee the damage going into the following turn. In which case, I think you'd stealth the Snow Chugger? Yeah. Because Loot Hoarder, you kind of want to die because it draws you the card. And if Snow Chugger's killed off, then Cogmaster all of a sudden goes down to 1 attack again.
Yep. Now looking for Defender of Argus. And that's not it. Soulfire, very powerful card in this position. She has the Lance Carrier. I mean, honestly, Allie won the board back, which is something that I didn't expect to happen, given how Thijs had Mech Warper plus so many cheap mechs. She just has no more life, no more time.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice for Thijs to hold on to Forgotten Torch, actually. He wanted to conceal his damage, but if some kind of heal were to come out, if he plays Forgotten Torch first and then Loot Hoarder dies, he's actually more likely to draw additional damage the following turn with a Roaring Torch in his deck, but he said, well, you know what, I'm not going to put you on having healing in your deck. I want to conceal the damage from hand, and that means Thijs takes the victory for Team Void.
There it is, little fist pump action. We're going to kick things off in Oktoberbrawl with a Team Void victory. Congratulations to Tyson. Looks like you can get ready for bed because the sun was up when this series started. But after this intense best of 3, it looks like it might be time for Tyson to end the day with a W.
Yeah, it's still not that late there. I think it's like 7 p.m. in the Netherlands.
Is it? Okay. It could be just the fact that it's coming to fall, so the sun sets a lot earlier. I'm used to summer times, man. But it's Oktoberbrawl, and autumn is here.
Yeah, and Team Void seems to be cleaning up. They won the votes early on this week. Now they win the first match of the first week of grudge matches. Seems to be
all right, so let's go ahead. Yeah, an all-team Void. Let's go ahead and talk to Thijs there. Thijs, what do you think was the key to your victory? Was it your good looks? Was it your skill? Was it the fans voting for packs?
These first 2 definitely had a big impact, but nah, the team. This one was for the team. The team doing so well. I had to. I'm really happy that I called now do this one for the team.
Gotcha. Allie.
But I still hope they were the first 2 ones.
okay, gotcha. Allie, you know, this is where we can come out with all the reasons. You know, what went wrong today? You know, was it what happened?
Was it those flame jugglers? You know, that just completely missed the one. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Try not to be salty. It's all good fun. I enjoyed myself. It's the way, like I said, it's the way it goes.
All right, well, better luck next week, Allie. And, you know, all things considering, I like where your head's at, some creative stuff and some creative plays. So good luck next week, and thanks for joining us, guys, once again.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
All right, so that does it. We have 2 more matches coming up for you. We have a Dog versus Kriparian. Jackie Chan versus Raynad, and then Dog versus Kriparian happening at the end of the day. Here's a little update on results. If you guys are tuning in just now, you missed Thijs taking down Allie by a score of 2-1, but it was pretty close.
It was very close. And that last game, Thijs was able to get the damage in early and then finish the game with burn, as Mage does. It seems like Mage is one of the classes to beat in week number 1. So I think that's going to be one of the key decks for the players moving forward. But Team Light has some ground to make up. And again, what's on the line is the winning team from this week in the grudge match gets a friendly little sabotage at the finals at TwitchCon. So it's going to be it's all for fun, but there is, you know, a lot of pride on the line and sort of fan service as well for the people that have been voting for them all week long. They want to see their team win.
All right, so coming up next, we have Jackie Chan from United Kingdom representing Team Void up against Raynad, who represents Team Light, hailing from the USA. So when we come back, we're going to have more action here from Oktoberbrawl, live from the NGU studio. So stay tuned, guys. More action is coming up right after this.